Hi, welcome to the College Credit Plus informational session for the 2021-2022 school year. I'll be sharing some very valuable information, especially for those students who are brand new to the College Credit Plus program. I encourage you to complete the entire video, as I will also share steps at the end of the video about what your next steps are if you decide that this is the right program for you. So welcome, and I hope that you find this information valuable. So what is CCP? CCP is Ohio's dual enrollment program that provides high school students the opportunity to take college classes while still in high school. And students have the ability to earn high school credit and college credit consecutively. And so it's a wonderful opportunity, and it replaced the old post-secondary education program that several of my parents might be familiar with, or you may have even participated in whenever you were in high school. And I think the other thing that I always love about the program is its ability to make connections with college curriculum and careers. And I'll be talking more about that a little bit later. But in essence, that is what the College Credit Plus program was intended to do. Again, allowing students to take college courses while still in high school and allowing them to earn college credit and high school credit consecutively. Let's go on to the nuts and bolts of this program. So who can participate? The state of Ohio states that anyone in grades 7 through 12 who qualify for college admissions, all right, can and who are Ohio residents can participate in the program. And so I like to always point out that really important part here, qualifying for college admissions. So again, this program is intended for students who are prepared for college level curriculum. So just because perhaps you want to take the classes doesn't mean that you're necessarily ready for that, especially for some of our younger students who might still need to learn some high school curriculum. Keep in mind that students who are taking college level classes, that the instructors and the professors that we'll be working with will expect you to already have the knowledge base that's required for the college level curriculum. They will not be filling in high school curriculum or middle school curriculum gaps to get you caught up, so to speak, for college level curriculum. We'll talk more about how do I determine if in fact I do qualify for the program. So let's speak about some benefits of the program. First of all, I think foremost for me is the expansion of the curriculum. And I really enjoy students who take the opportunity to take college courses that we do not offer here in our school district. And so, for instance, a student might want to take an introduction to an engineering course, an engineering technical course. So we have our engineering pathway courses, and students can take those. This will be at a higher level, again, because it is college level curriculum. Students can take a variety of different courses that are going to lead them, and we encourage them that it's going to lead to their eventual goal of earning a 4-year degree or a 4-year technical certification of some sort. And so we want that curriculum to relate clearly to their careers. The other thing that I really like is it just allows you to explore interests more in depth. And so if you're a student who's really, let's just say, enjoying history, this is the opportunity now to go work with a college level professor, most of them having master's and doctorate's degrees in that specific content area. And so if you are really interested in a specific subject matter, this is going to not only allow you to really study that curriculum more in depth, but it's going to allow you to do more research. It's going to allow you to network with professors who have spent years and years preparing for this type of content. The other thing, obviously, is the financial support. That's a huge benefit of our CCP program. And so parents and students, I want you to be aware is when you're taking these college courses, the school district in combination with the state of Ohio are the ones who are actually paying for this coursework. And so things like the tuition and the books and fees, those things are all covered by your school district with some additional funding from the State Department. It also allows students to experience college level curriculum, and I can't say enough about the positivity of that. I've been doing this and working with students now for, gosh, I started with post secondary education, so I'm really going to date myself when I say this. But I actually started back in 2002 working as a PSEO coordinator. And the one thing that I would say that I've just really learned over these years of working with students is that when they leave high school to go on to their college of choice after graduation, the one thing that I've really noticed with our students is they're really prepared. So when we talk about experiencing college level curriculum, it's about learning how to network with professors, understanding what a course syllabi is. How am I going to understand that I need to be able to, go and communicate with a professor on my own, and that I need to be able to do research in groups with varying different ages. So there's so much involved whenever it comes to college level curriculum, not just necessarily content. And so that's one of my favorite parts, especially watching students start at the program and where they end after they've done it for a couple of years. Most importantly, again, I'm going to go back to that expansion of curriculum. I am really a proponent of making sure that when I'm working with you students, that I want to make sure that the curriculum that you're taking at the collegiate level is leading to some type of career goal. And so we will do a lot of research together on that. I will do whatever I can to help you navigate that process. If you're still undecided, that's okay. But what we do want to make sure is that we start narrowing that process. So maybe you don't know exactly what you want to major in, especially if you're a younger student participating in the program. And that's okay. But what I do want it to do is make sure, for instance, that we're headed towards a bachelor's of science versus a bachelor's of arts degree, and making sure that the classes that we're going to take while we're in the program are going to benefit you for the long run, and that we're going to help you narrow your time in college and decrease your expenses. Other benefits, students, again, as I said before, they can earn high school credit and college credit. And so a lot of questions are always asked about that. And so if you'll look at the screen, you can see here that any credit, 3, 4, or 5 semester hour courses will equal 1 high school credit. And so what does that look like? So if I'm taking English 1101 or 1100 at a school, and that's composition 1, that's typically a 3-hour course at most colleges, and therefore that will transfer into 1 high school English credit. Again, we work really closely with you students to make sure that you're meeting all of your graduation requirements, and teaching you how to use different platforms, to making sure that you are, again, getting high school credit, and also making sure that all of the coursework that we're working with is going to transfer into that career, that college that you want. I apologize, the college that you want down the road. Students may take courses, just so you, in the summer. So that's an option that I really encourage for those students, especially who tend to have very active, busy lives outside of their regular curriculum day here at Teays Valley. And so if you're a student, for instance, who might be working and also an athlete, and you're here for all periods of the day, then you might want to suggest starting out taking a summer course and see how you like the program, and see how you feel about the time management that it requires. As with everything in life, for all of the benefits that we have and all those pros, there's always some risk or some cons involved with the program. One of the things that I noticed most is that students who are typically in this program are our higher achieving students, which also means that they're our busiest students. So it's that same student who is volunteering, who's working part-time, who's involved in athletics or band or our choir programs. And therefore, it's a really big increased responsibility and learning how to manage their time, and being able to adjust and understand that, at some point decisions have to be made. And so teaching that balance, I think, is a really good life skill for all of them, me included. Sometimes I fail at that myself. And so I really do think that sometimes can provide a risk for some students. The other one, of course, is additional financial concerns. And so we do, as I said in the previous slide, we do cover things like tuition, books, fees. However, if a student is taking their courses on campus, so you are actually going to Ohio State or headed to Columbus State or headed to Ohio Christian or OU Lancaster, we have a wealth of opportunities at all of those schools. Do understand that the school district, North State, provides funding for things like transportation or food. Every year, I seem to get a call from a parent saying, "Can we get a meal card?" And so, no, the answer is no. The school district, the State Department, will not fund those types of things. So it can be an additional risk concern. And the other thing is that if a student, so all of these things are free, all of those things are positive. However, if the student fails the course, the school district will actually seek reimbursement for those courses. So if, again, I always say this over and over again in multiple slides, if the student fails the course, the student is responsible for payment for the course and the textbooks and any fees that are included in that as well. And parents, as we're talking about that, as I move on to the next slide, and students, please understand that the average cost for courses that are taught online or for courses that are taught at the actual college are going to run approximately $485 to $500 per course. So I kind of like to throw that out there and make sure students understand the seriousness of making sure that you are prepared for college level curriculum and the seriousness of making sure that you're really studying and putting a concentrated effort into these courses. Other risk, clearly if a student, I'll go back to my English example, if a student is taking English 1100 Composition 1 and chose not to take Senior English, so again, they've opted to take Comp 1 and not take English 12, and then let's just say they do not pass Comp 1, okay, now that student may be at risk for not graduating. And so that's something that I always like to point out. The other thing I would say is obviously as students who are involved in this program have typically been our high achieving students. And so it can have a negative impact if you don't do well in the class, or if this is your first time. Remember, it's college level curriculum. This could be your first time that you pop a B or maybe get a C in a course. So I do like to point this out. It does impact the high school GPA, hopefully positively. And it also, of course, will affect your class rank if your performance is poor. The other thing, oops, I didn't mean to skip ahead. The other thing that I want to point out is that poor performance, okay, can also impact your acceptance into a college program down the road. So let's just say that you have decided to take college algebra in an intro to biology course, and you pop a C in a biology course and you get a D in a college algebra course, and yet your long-term goal as a student is to get involved in a pre-med program. So now we've already kind of sent that message to that college that you'll be applying to after graduation that you're already struggling with college level curriculum. So it is very important that you understand that that can sometimes impact acceptance if we don't perform well. Now, I know I sound like kind of all doom and gloom here, and that is by far not my intent. This is a very positive program. I like to point out those risks in case I have someone who is watching the video right now who's currently struggling getting A's and B's in their high school coursework. If you are struggling getting A's and B's in high school level curriculum, my recommendation is that we continue with some high school level curriculum until we can increase our achievement in high school, and then let's move on to some college level curriculum so that we do not put ourselves at risk for our future and maybe not getting accepted into a competitive program down the road. Last but not least is social discomfort. And we'll talk a little bit more about that, but students are going to be working with students of all ages, especially those students who choose to take courses online or if they choose to take the courses actually on the college campus. If the students are taking courses here at Teays Valley High School, which we refer to as dual enrollment courses, that's a pretty nice safety net. However, they will be involved perhaps in what professors refer to as chat rooms or community logs, and that allows them to intermingle with multiple students. And those students, again, can be all over the state of Ohio, depending on what the professor has opened that chat room up with. And that can be a little uncomfortable sometimes, especially for some of my younger students. If you are, 14, 15 years of age and you are attempting to take college classes, and now you're going to be communicating with somebody who's in their 40s because they decided to go back and get their perhaps a degree later in life, sometimes that can bring a little bit of social discomfort. And of course, the biggest one I talk about as well is time management concerns. Again, I by all means do not want to be doom and gloom because I love the College Credit Plus program. That is why I am the coordinator of the program, because I just see so many benefits for our students and opportunities. I will share students and parents for those students who open up those web portals and get to work right out of the gate as soon as their course opens. Typically, we are seeing approximately 90% of our students are getting A's and B's in their college level coursework. We do have some students every semester. We will have 2 or 3 that choose not to take the curriculum serious, don't take the challenge serious, and unfortunately, that brings about some negative consequences. So I like to go over those risks really clearly to make sure that everyone is on the same page and that there are no surprises if a student doesn't do well in the course. That is not my anticipation. We work with students to make sure that doesn't happen. Our professors, we are really, really blessed with our college professors, and I'll be introducing our partnership colleges here in a little while, but know that they too work to try and make sure that those students are doing everything that they need to do to be successful. So what does it mean when we think about that first slide that I talked about? Like, am I college ready? Okay, and am I going to be able to qualify for admissions into a college? So what happens is the student will actually needs to apply for college. Okay, so you're actually going to do a college application just like every incoming freshman would after high school graduation. So students have to meet each of the requirements for each college that they're wanting to attend. So I need to bring that up as well. Students may attend multiple colleges. Often I'll have students do 2, 3 colleges sometimes at the same time. Others will make a decision to participate only in one college. They'll take all of their classes through Ohio Christian. Another student may say, I'm going to take my psychology, sociology through Ohio Christian, but I've decided that I'm going to take a science class that I'm wanting to take at Columbus State. Wherever you decide to go, students, please understand you have to apply to each one of those colleges, and you have to meet their requirements for each college. And each college does have separate requirements. So some of those requirements will include college placement testing. Others will include college placement and GPA. Some will include just GPA. So it really will be important that you understand the college requirements for the colleges that you're applying to. All colleges will be reviewing GPAs in general and looking at the high school curriculum choice that you have already taken. As long as you've been in high school. If you are in middle school and you're taking middle school, they're going to see what level of curriculum you've been taking. Are you taking honors courses? Are you prepared in their best opinion? Are you prepared for college level curriculum? So understand that it is not the school counselor. It is not me. It is the college admissions team that will determine whether or not you are accepted to college. So where can students take courses? Super excited to say that students can take courses at any public or private college that actually participates in the program as long as it's in the state of Ohio. Students can take classes online. All right, students can take classes on campus. That means at the college on their campus. And students may also take classes here at Teays Valley High School. So that brings up my partnership schools that I would like to introduce. We have partnerships with Columbus State and Ohio Christian. We are very, very blessed to be working with both of those institutions now for several years, and they have provided excellent curriculum and excellent quality of service. We have a fabulous admissions teams that we work with on both of those colleges. Those two colleges are teaching classes at Teays Valley High School. Okay, so students can come here, take classes, just as if they are going to third period, except when they show up for third period, they're actually going to have a college professor sitting in that classroom teaching that course. So that's what we refer to as dual enrollment. We also have partnerships with Ohio State and OU Lancaster and OU Chillicothe. We are open to working with any and all colleges. We work with Cedarville very closely and Otterbein and schools throughout the state of Ohio. So there's absolutely nothing that's limiting any student. Those just are particular schools that we happen to have contracts with. Also know that a student, again, I want to bring this up, a student can take classes at multiple institutions. Okay, and sometimes I get a lot of questions about that. So you don't have to choose just one college. Also, please note that all of the credits transfer as long as they're within the state of Ohio. We have a transfer module. I will introduce you to that website at the end of our presentation. Any parents or students who ever question that, please come and see me. I'd be more than happy to work with you and making sure that all of your credits are transferring. And quite honestly, we've really had excellent, because Ohio has such a strong education foundation. We have not had any problems with credits even transferring outside of our state. Every once in a while, like I said, I've had maybe 2 or 3 colleges that 1 or 2 classes may not be accepted, but generally speaking, especially those gen ed courses are transferring even out of state, especially as more and more states are continuing to expand and starting to, have college credit plus programs of their own. So what's the difference, students, between high school versus college? And I really like this little slide that really goes through things. What's the difference when you're in high school, right? Tests are given weekly or at the end of a chapter, okay? And homework ranges, 1 to 3 hours per day. Info is provided in class every day, and teachers are reminding you, please make sure that you're, don't forget we have a test tomorrow, you have a project tomorrow, those types of things. And parents work really closely with teachers. And so I think the biggest difference between the high school and the college, in the college, right, tests are fewer. Okay, you may cover all 18 weeks. So everything is taught on a semester. I want to make sure that our students know that. Right now, if you're in high school or at the middle school, right, you take English all year to get that 1 credit. If you are taking college courses, you will take Composition 1 or a college algebra class. You will take that for a semester. Okay, and that semester will award you 1 high school credit. So what happens over this course of 18 weeks, students, is that you may only have 2 tests and a paper, or you may have 2 or 3 tests, no paper. You might have two papers or 1 project. So there's fewer opportunities to get grades. And so I know we are used to things here. When we're in middle school and high school, we're used to saying, okay, well, my teacher's probably going to have 5 more assignments, and I didn't do well on that 1 test, but I'll probably have at least 5 or 6 more opportunities to bring my grade up. But at the collegiate level, nothing could be further from the truth. They really want you to spend time learning, researching on your own, but they're really only going to provide those assessments, whether it's through a test, a project, or a paper. They're typically only going to do that about 3 to 4 times a semester. Homework is drastically different. So for every one college class that you decide to take, you need to plan on spending approximately 3 to 5, maybe even 6 hours, depending on the course, for that one class. Okay, so that is also very different. And the research that you're going to be doing for those courses are not going to be during class time. So again, when we go back and we think about how when we were writing a research paper in English, our high school teachers and our middle school teachers take the students to the library and we do our research and we work with the librarians and those types of things. And kind of what I call those baby steps, teaching you along the way how to do research and how that paper should come together. When you're at the college level, and you will be taking college level curriculum, those baby steps are missing. Okay. So they're expecting you to do the research. They're going to assign the project. Those professors are going to continue to teach, okay, about a wealth of other subjects that may have nothing to do with the project that they assigned in week 1. And that project may not be due until week 10, and they may never mention it again because it's going to be on that course syllabus that I talked to you about on the first slide. And so it's the student who has to do the research outside of outside of that classroom time. And what I call that 3 to 5 hours that you're putting in, okay, doing work for that course. Might be some research, those types of things. And clearly, students love this part of it, and parents are kind of fearful. But again, at the high school and middle school level, we're used to, emailing our teachers or coming in to speak with the teacher. We hold parent-teacher conferences. And of course, at the collegiate level, students are seen as college students. Therefore, parents can mentor a student. Students can share information that they want to share with their parent, but parents do not have login information. They are not allowed to have login information, nor are they allowed to have communication with college professors. So that's something that's quite a change sometimes for parents. Academic responsibilities. Student is responsible for all academic requirements for those college level courses. The parents, and I know you're laughing right now, but parents are not allowed to attend college classes, right? And so the only reason why I'm bringing this up, I wonder why, right? Like, why would I have that on the slide? Because we have had parents try to go and sit in the college class with their students. We have had parents try to sit outside the door. We've had parents try to get a hold of cell phone numbers, call admissions offices, and sometimes even get extremely angry when they're told, no, we cannot provide you with that information. So that is a really, really big difference for parents and students, right? Parents are not allowed to attend the college level courses in any shape or form, nor should they be completing any of the college level curriculum. Professors are not required, nor are they permitted. It's actually against the law for them to communicate with parents. And that goes with what we call FERPA. I'll be talking about that a little bit later, but that's our federal law that says college students are in fact college students and treated as adults. Parents may not loiter on campus. So if you have a younger student who's participating in the program, parents, you may not loiter on campus. They don't have parent lounges. So if you have someone who's not driving and you've driven them down to Columbus State to take a class, you'll need to drop them off in the parking lot and then take this as a wonderful opportunity for yourself, because as parents, we never get this time, but please take this as time to go have yourself a cup of coffee, read a book at a local coffee shop, or do some shopping, whatever it is that you like to do. Go work out, anything that you never have the time to do. But please understand that security will ask you to leave campus if you're loitering on campus. Can't say it again. CCP students, okay, are considered college students. They are considered real college students. This isn't pretend. This isn't a test run to see if I'm ready. Nothing could be further from the truth. Okay, CCP students are real college students. Their assignments are evaluated by the professors, just like every other college student in that course. And some of those college students could be in their 20s, 30s, 40s, depending on the college. And also understand that Many times the professors do not even know, especially whenever the students are taking online courses. Those professors have absolutely no idea that that student is in fact in middle school or high school. Okay. So here we go. We're talking about FERPA that I was just mentioning before. So that is the federal law. Okay. It's a Family Education Rights and Privacy Act law, and it protects the student's educational records. And so parents do not have the right to access that student student records without the student's permission. Okay. And so a student can give a parent permission. However, the professors are still not going to communicate with the student. All this does is allow a parent to make a phone call, perhaps to admissions if there's a concern of some type. And that phone call, let me just role play that, might be something like, hi, this is College XYZ. You as a parent are saying, hey, my student is really busy at school all day, has not had the availability to call you. Wanted to let you know that we've had an issue. There's, something wrong with their car and it's broken down, or they've been in an accident or in the hospital or something like that. And admissions will thank you for calling, get some information from you with your student's name, what class they might be taking, and then they'll contact the professor on your behalf. So that's kind of, even when the student gives you permission, it does not allow you to contact professors. So the impact of the credit towards graduation, I spoke briefly about that before, but I always like to make sure that students understand that this does impact graduation, and that everything that we're doing when we're in college is a permanent record. Okay, and I'll talk about that in a moment when we talk about transcripted credit. So for instance, and I gave an example down there on the bottom of the slide, but a student who's taking, for instance, Comp 101 at a college and chooses not to take an English 12 at high school must successfully complete that course to make sure that they are, in fact, meeting graduation requirements. Can I say this one more time? It does impact your GPA. It impacts your high school GPA. It impacts I did not realize that was the next slide, so that's kind of funny, right? It does impact your high school GPA. It also impacts your class rank. It is also impacting your college GPA because you are taking college courses. So you are now actually starting, to accrue a college GPA. So that's important. When you graduate, whatever you've earned in those courses are going to follow you along. Here, I just actually provided just an example of what is a transcripted credit. All right, so this is just an example of a transcript, and transcripted credit is permanent. Okay, and that is really important that students understand. Even if I decided to go back to college, I don't want to say this out loud, but for the fourth time, if I decided to do that, right, they are going to actually go back and look at my transcripts way back when I graduated from high school, and they are going to look at what Bowling Green State University is where I went for my first bachelor's degree. And so they are going to actually go back and look at that transcript. So that is, guys, I'm not going to say how old I am, but you can imagine how many years ago that was, right? And so they will go back and look at that. So understand that it is permanent. It's going to follow you forever and ever and ever. So we want to do really, really well in our classes. So how and when do I receive my grades? So that is very different in my credits than what you have here at the high school. So students are awarded credit after they've completed the course. Typically, let's just say colleges finish up mid-December. We actually are, most likely headed for our winter break. Therefore, course credits and grades will not be entered until we get back. It takes a couple of weeks. We hand enter all of those grades. So students need to understand, parents need to understand, your CCP courses will not appear on your grade cards. They will appear on your official transcripted credit transcript. Okay. So I always like to make sure that parents and students understand that. I guess I go ahead and speak to this right now. Also, please understand that you're on a different calendar. So if you, for instance, are taking classes through a college after, let's say, second semester, Many of those colleges do not begin classes until, January 13th, January 18th, something like that, where Teays Valley, the high school, may begin January 4th. Therefore, the student during that time is either going to sit in a CCP study hall, and some of them may choose not to come in at all. For instance, if they have CCP courses first and second period, and those courses don't begin until later, they may opt not to come into the building until third period, if that's their actually first high school class, until college classes start. We go over a lot of orientation information and answer all of those questions in detail with the students at the beginning of the year as well. So translation of credit, I like to just kind of go through that one more time. 3 or more college credits is going to equal 1 high school credit. Anything less, than a 3-hour course. So there are a few classes out there. I don't encourage them, but there are a couple of classes that are 2-hour courses, And so a 2-hour course is determined proportionally. And so I kind of just gave you that formula. You're never going to have to remember that, students or parents. We take care of all of that in our guidance office. And so you don't need to worry about that. And I always bring that up if I'm meeting with a student to make sure that they understand that, if you're taking a 2-hour course, you will not get 1 high school credit, but instead 0.66. So again, I'm just showing you a couple of slides about what does it look like and how are classes weighted. And so if you are taking a College Credit Plus course, the actual courses are weighted as long as they are in the same subject area that we weight here at Teays Valley High School. So for instance, if you take a computer science course at Columbus State University, that course would not be given the additional 0.05 weight that we do here for our honors and AP courses. Why? Because we do not weight business courses here at Teays Valley High School. If you were taking a music course, we do not weight music courses here at Teays Valley High School. Therefore, your music course that you would be taking at the collegiate level would not be weighted. However, if you take a class such as English or math or a history course, those courses are weighted because we weight in that subject area. We weight English classes, we weight history courses. Again, I can go over that with you whenever we actually sit down and do individual scheduling, or you can always pop in and ask me and say, hey, if I take this course, can you tell me if it's weighted or not? Financial information. Students choosing, to participate, again, will not be charged tuition. If you are participating with our partner colleges, you will not be charged tuition, fees, or for books, However, if you choose to do something outside of our partnership schools, I cannot guarantee that you may not be charged if you are working with a private school. All public schools are free, but private schools may charge you. They do have that right. I don't hear a lot of that happening out there, but I can't say that I can speak for every school in the state of Ohio. So I like to bring that up as well. Failing a course, I told you guys I would bring it up again because I really want to make sure that we all understand the serious consequences of that happening. I'm not going to read the whole slide. As parents, as students, you are responsible for reading the slide and understanding and knowing that material. If you fail that course, you will have to pay for that course. It will actually appear on the student's fees account. This is just some examples, again, of what does it look like for a GPA to be weighted, And so if you're a student who's never taken an honors or an AP course, I kind of just provided that sample so that you can look at samples of students who took CCP in an honors course versus samples of students who took just Teays Valley High School and how that GPA is calculated. Students, you should have seen this with your school counselors throughout our presentations. If you're at the high school, that's probably not new information to you, but I like to just have it out there in black and white so you can go over it with your parents. And again, here's your GPA calculation. So I provided just a couple of slides. The one thing that I like to bring up too is our support services. So not only will the student be working with me, or they can also work with one of their other school counselors if they have questions about college curriculum. However, we will also be working with college advisors and college admissions. And I just think wow, how lucky are these young people, right? Parents, to have these opportunities given to them at such a young age. And so they will have lots of support systems. There are writing labs, math labs, professors, and admissions officers. They have counselors, all different types of support services on those college campuses. And even for our students who are taking classes here through dual enrollment, those students will have the same support systems as any student who's just taking a class on campus. So if you're taking Composition 1 here at our high school and you'd like someone to proofread your paper, you absolutely can go down to Columbus State and you can work with the librarian, you can work with their English writing labs and have someone proofread your paper. That's something that's really unique too. So some students are not aware, we're very blessed to be working here with Miss Campbell in our library, who works with students individually and in groups, helping them and really teaching them how to research and the importance of getting the correct resources and citing things properly. And so the colleges have librarians as well, where you can make appointments and go in and actually have an appointment with a librarian that can be helpful. So many support systems on campuses. So can I participate in athletic programs? Well, of course you can. All right. However, we still have to meet those minimum, five credits with OHSSA, depending on which, if you're participating in the fall, we will double check and make sure that you have all the credits that you need. Students, it is your responsibility to communicate that with me when we're scheduling. I do not know, or nor do I pretend to know, every person that is on every team throughout the building. And so it is your responsibility to say, hey, Miss Samuel, I'm an athlete. Am I eligible? Okay. It is also up to you to have your coach look at your schedule and make sure that you are eligible. So not only will I be taking a look at that, but coaches are also responsible for that. You can also always go to Mr. Baker. He's more than happy to help you as well throughout that. Social context. So again, students, you'll be taking college classes, whether it's online, whether it's at the high school, or whether it's on a college campus. With that, when it comes socially, there's advantages and disadvantages. And so I like to bring that out, right? So it's what I call beyond the classroom. So some of you are very, very bright and you might be college ready. That means that you took those college placement tests, and those college placement tests indicated that you, in fact, were college ready and ready to take college level curriculum. However, there is a whole other side of college, right? We have safety concerns. For those of you going on campus, are you driving already? There's safety of walking to and from parking lots, to and from buildings, locations of study groups. That's really important to think about. I bring these things up because sometimes it's your first time to actually ever have had those types of experiences. And so if you're sitting in a classroom with, you're 16, but everybody else in your group is 22, 23, and they want to go down to a local establishment to sit down and write a paper, and, please understand that's going to be inappropriate and that's not going to work for you. And so it might be the first time that you're ever faced with something like that. And you have to have the confidence in yourself to say, hey guys, I'm really sorry. I'm in this class and I really want to work with you as a group, but can we meet at the library? Meeting in a public space, I think, is really, really important for safety concerns. Parents, I really encourage you, and students, if you are driving to college campuses, I really think that students should drive, that route 3 or 4 times. Understand you're going to be driving it in weather. Unlike high schools, colleges typically do not cancel for snow. Rarely. I think BG canceled maybe 2 times the entire 4 years I was there. And trust me, guys, Bowling Green State University gets some serious snow. And so you'll be driving in inclement weather conditions. So it's important to practice. It's important to practice where you're going to park. That parking, remember, is not free. And so you'll either be paying for a parking lot spot or you'll try and find street parking. And sometimes that can be really far away and maybe not so safe. And so I really can't say enough about making sure you practice those things. We talked about the classroom chat earlier. So what does that mean? That means your professor puts you in with a group, okay, and there's all different age groups within that group, and you'll be talking about some different things, and that curriculum is not necessarily going to be high school curriculum. Parents, I probably should have said this earlier, right? But the curriculum and the classroom chatter, it is all geared for students above the age of 18. These are college courses, okay? And so you need to be prepared for that as a parent. There's going to be some discussions, perhaps about sexuality and a piece of literature. There will be discussions in classrooms. Some student may be invited to a random party that you don't want them to go to. So I bring all of this up because the social interaction outside of class and within those classrooms are meant for students who are mature and who are ready to handle those social situations. It's important that you sit down as a family and talk about what are our expectations for you while you're in this program. And I think if everybody's clear and talks about all of those things up front, we have absolutely no problems at all. Where sometimes it gets a little gray is quite honestly that family who didn't have the discussion, and that student ended up in an apartment with some people who were, anywhere between 22 and 30, and they're 17 or maybe even 18, but that's not something you're comfortable with as a family. And that student had no idea that they had put themselves in an uncomfortable situation until they got there. So parents, please have those conversations up front. We have not had any situations, so we're really, really blessed about that. I don't want 2021, 2022 school year to be the first. New friends, parents, that's probably the biggest struggle for you. Students seem to embrace that. It's the one thing I love about the College Credit Plus program is that they get to meet people from all over the state of Ohio. And so I think that's really exciting, and to look at different cultures and different diversities and things that they've might not been exposed to yet here at Teays Valley High School. For parents, it's quite challenging. Most of our students have grown up K through 12. We do have a move-in population clearly, but many of our students have moved and stayed with us for years and years and years. And so you have a history with their classmates, and you have a history with those families and with the people that they've played Little League with and had friends over for sleepovers when they were in elementary school. So this will be the first time, parents, that you will suddenly not know all of their friends. And you might be hearing some new names around the kitchen table in the evening, and it might make you a little uncomfortable. And so the one thing I can just say is make sure you ask questions. Just make sure you ask questions. CCP, in my opinion, obviously can be an absolute fabulous opportunity. All right. The question is, you have to ask yourself, am I ready in all aspects? Okay. It's not just intellectual, but am I ready in all aspects? Am I mature? Am I responsible? Can I do my time management? Am I ready for college level curriculum beyond the classroom? So how can a student participate? A student must, again, first submit their college application, all right, to the College of Interest. The application, will need to include their test scores. Again, you'll need to know for each individual college what their expectations are. Some schools will expect you to send the ACT information directly from ACT, the ACT agency. Some of you may not even have taken an ACT yet, and that's okay. We have something that we call the AccuPlacer. And so colleges will offer testing, and so students will need to schedule their placement testing. So they'll go to the college website, they can search testing, and they'll find all that information there. Students must also submit an official transcript from the guidance office, and we have a form, a link, and then I'll be directing you to where you can find all of this information here in just a few moments. And the student must be eligible, for the program by meeting the college readiness scores. And so I've used that term several times. Some of you may be asking, well, what is that? So for instance, if you would like to take an English course, okay, you will need to make sure that you hit the English readiness benchmarks on the ACT. And what is that? That would be an 18, all right, in the English and a 22 in the reading section. So that's just one example for one college. That's their requirements. I will help you students kind of navigate this process. I do know that you are first-time CCP students and absolutely love this program. And so I'm more than happy to help answer some of those questions. I also have a wealth of resources in our CCP Schoology group that I will give you the codes to. There are 6 action steps that are needed by each student to participate in the program. The first one is this verification of counseling form and the intent to participate form. We need that information in preferably by March 26th. And the reason why, oops, I put the wrong date there. It's March 26th of 21. And the reason why that's important is you can actually, according to the state, turn it in clear up this year until May. However, the March date coincides with our high school scheduling. So it is important that you meet that deadline, I think, so that as you're thinking about your high school schedule for next year, that you actually have all of your forms in to participate. And so you'll need to do the verification of counseling form and the intent to participate forms. Typically, these forms are pink and green. However, we are going to be doing them online this year. If a student is struggling with the link or something of sorts, they can stop by the guidance office and pick up a pink and green form if that's necessary for them. This form basically says that you have watched this PowerPoint, that you understand that you're responsible for all of the information that was provided this evening. And the other thing that you'll need to understand is that just because you turn in an intent to participate form does not mean, I'm going to go back to the other slide, does not mean that you are in the program. It means I'm intending to participate. So if you change your mind down the road, that's absolutely no big deal, okay? What it does mean is it allows our school district to prepare financially for how many students we need to set aside some funding to participate in the program for next year. Your second step will be to apply to those colleges. 3, you're going to request your transcripts using the link, okay, that's posted in this presentation. And you are also going to complete the admissions testing, okay, whether that's ACT or the AccuPlacer, but you will need to be providing some information to those colleges regarding your college readiness scores. Read your email daily. That's number 5. Can't say that enough about that. You must read your emails daily. That is how the colleges and myself will be communicating with you. So students, we will not be communicating with the parent. Remember, we will be communicating with you. And so you need to make sure that you are checking your emails, reading those, and responding to those if you've been asked to do so. After you have received your acceptance, okay, so you've applied, you've sent your transcripts, you've sent your college readiness scores in. Your next thing is to make an appointment after you have received your acceptance letter from the college. Okay, you'll be making that appointment with me. And from that point on, I will be working with you as your school counselor in regards to your college selections and college course curriculum. Students, if you have relationships with your school counselors, you can absolutely meet with them and continue to do so. I encourage you to do so. But when it comes to your actual CCP paperwork and those types of things, you and I will be working together regarding that information. One last thing, admissions, remember, has the final decision as to whether or not a student is admitted, not the high school. So students, be watching those emails after you apply, because they will be the ones that send you whether or not you've been accepted and what courses you are allowed to take. All right. So you've been admitted, right? So what are the next steps? All right. The CCP coordinator, that's me. All right. We'll be discussing your course options, helping you with your schedule. You'll be meeting with college advisors. Some of them come to our schools. Others do things remotely, or we'll have you come to their college. Many of them at this point will just work with me and partner with me with the selection of courses. So we try and do as much of it as we can right here at the high school. That just saves families some trips and times back and forth to colleges. Scheduling at the high school is extremely important. I've got lots of words on this slide, but please make sure that you are getting an appointment early as soon as you have been accepted so that we can get you into those courses. Courses do fill up. This is not high school. These are college. So you are competing with other students who are also enrolled at those colleges who want a seat in that class. So for instance, if there's 25 seats in a Composition 1 course, those fill up pretty quickly when we're competing with, we'll just say 22,000 students, okay, at a Bowling Green State University. They are also trying to get into those English courses. Email requests will not be accepted. All right, so please understand, students, you have to make an appointment. You'll be using the link. I actually provided it here in our presentation, so you can schedule an appointment with me directly that's convenient for your time. I do offer some evening times as well. If parents want to come in for an appointment, they can. I will say that 90% of the parents do not come in. The students actually sign up and register for the course. Parents, you will be required to sign their registration form, so you will be aware of what they are taking. How many college credits can I take? So how many classes can I take? This sounds exciting, right? So can I take 12 classes, 15 classes? How many can I take? Well, there's actually a formula provided by the State Department. And what that formula is, it's located right here, but you're going to take the number of high school credits that you are taking at the high school. You're going to multiply that by 3, okay, and then subtract it by 30. I do understand that no one is going to remember that formula. No one is going to remember that formula, and nor are you expected to, okay? What I will say to you parents is I do the formula with each student to make sure that a student does not overextend themselves. I'm also checking to make sure that they at no point take any more than the allotted hours that they are allowed. The reason for that is if a student has only 12 hours that they're allowed to take, so that would be 4 college classes if each are averaging 3 semester hours, and a student signs up for 15 hours, okay, that's going to be a problem because then that student has to pay for those additional 3 hours on their own. So we do not do that, okay? So a student at no time can ever take more than 30 hours, and that is a student who's not taking, it's what I call going full-time CCP. They are not taking any classes at the high school. They've decided to go full-time CCP. So all of the classes that they are taking are college level courses. That is a recommendation for students who have been doing this program for a while, who have had great success, getting all A's, maybe 1B, and they are ready for that additional challenge. So then we do encourage, maybe they look at going full-time. That student then has the maximum to take of 30 hours a school year. A student at no point can take more than 120 over the course of their 4-year career. Here's the example of that calculation. And last but not least, I like to talk about our CCP pathway programs. So there are 15 and 30-hour semester pathways available to students with our partner colleges. And so I can go over those with students and we can view those together if that's something that someone is interested in. For instance, there's a business pathway, there's a pre-med pathway, there's an education pathway. We have lots of different pathway options. Sometimes that is beneficial for a student, and other times it's more beneficial if they really work on just getting their general education requirements taken. I'd like to go back, I guess, to when we talk about the number of classes that a student should take. I really recommend, if this is your first time doing CCP, I don't recommend taking more than 2 classes the first semester. I do think, again, it is important that you understand that we don't want to do anything that would jeopardize our futures by maybe not performing as well as what you thought you were going to. And so I would proceed with caution and let's not overextend ourselves. Dual enrollment options, we've talked about those. Those are courses that are offered at the high school, okay? still taught by college professors. Okay, nothing really changes for those. You will find a list of dual enrollment courses. Those are available in links at the end of this presentation. Will these courses transfer? As I stated earlier in the presentation, I would direct you to some websites, and here are those websites. So you will be able to see the different courses and different transfer modules that you can look at to find out if the course that you're wanting to take will transfer. I spend a lot of time working with students, helping them and making sure that everything will transfer. I do encourage, if you are a student who maybe is a junior or senior and you do know which class or which college you want to attend after high school, I really encourage you to look at their curriculum and make sure that we're signing up for all of the right courses. I have several sample curriculums in my office, students, so when we get ready to schedule, if you have some ideas of like where you want to go, we can look at that together. If you have any questions or want additional information, I provided this additional link with the ohiohighered.org, and they have a wealth of information as well as an entire page of FAQs that, perhaps there was something that I missed in our presentation here this evening. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to look at what the State Department website has available to you as parents and as students. I can't thank you enough for really taking the time to go through this entire PowerPoint presentation. If there's any questions that I can answer for you, please feel free to contact me. My contact information is on the last page of the screen, as well as multiple links and checklists. There'll be lots of things available to you. I will also be providing you with the Schoology code, and that way you can join our Schoology group. It is literally limited to just CCP students. That's where I communicate and make all announcements. I will not be making announcements in other CCP groups, emails, or those types of things. Once that student has completed their intent paperwork, they'll need to make sure that they are registered for the CCP Schoology group. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful first year of College Credit Plus.